Until sadly I was never happy. I needed so much more. Rain clouds, oh, they used to chase me. Down they would pour, joining my tears. I lay my to me from heaven, Sally Cinnamon, you're my word. You taste the cherry, there is something you must show me. From what you are made, sugar is fine, and all things nice. Sent to me from heaven, Sally Cinnamon, you're my word. You are my word.
I hope you've enjoyed your meal, and it's come to time where we can now start the speeches. And who better to start than the father of the bride? It's Ken.
Good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, you've probably gathered by now that I'm Lucy's father. I'm also known as Lynn's husband, Sam's dad, Luke's dad, and more recently, Emily's father-in-law. And today, I'm delighted to add another sobriquet, that of Ben's father-in-law. However, if at some time during the proceedings later on, you wish to attract my attention in order to buy me a drink, then my name's Ken. Or more formally, Kenneth, if you're annoyed with me. This is a very special day for both Lynn and myself, when we formally welcome Ben into the family. And on our behalf, I would like to welcome you all, and thank you so much for coming in order to celebrate Lucy and Ben's wedding. I'd particularly like to welcome Annette and David, and thank them for providing my lovely daughter with such a perfect match. Before I go on, and contrary to common opinion, I am actually a bit of an emotional type. I've been known to burst into tears on many occasions while watching DIY SOS. So, if there's a catch in my voice or a hiccup, I make my apologies in advance. Lucy. What can I say about my lovely daughter that's guaranteed to embarrass her? She told me that today she wanted to be like a princess. Well, Lucy, you're more than she got. This is very difficult. But then again, you've always been my princess. I've been searching for adjectives that adequately describe Lucy, and they appear a bit understated. But words like kind, attentive, considerate, thoughtful, loving, sensitive and perceptive come to mind, and a little phrase that we often use in relation to Lucy: she's always prepared to go the extra mile. Lucy, you're a very special treasure, and Ben, you're a very lucky guy. Page 2. Now Ben, we're so happy that Lucy and Ben chose each other. I now get my shrubs and hedges expertly trimmed. And when they come to tea on a Sunday, I never have to indulge in that terrible tradition of having to eat up leftovers on Monday. So you can guess why. It was when Lucy and Ben were going on holiday last year that they asked us to look after Archie. We arrived to pick up Archie and all his associated clobber that comes with him. And Ben said, I'll help you load up the car. So we went outside and Ben said to me, when we're away, I would like to ask Lucy to marry me. Does that meet with your approval? Now, I'd actually prepared a formal and very profound reply to this, which went completely out of my head. And gripping in a firm handshake, I actually repeated those iconic words that Dr. Livingstone spoke to Stanley when they eventually met up in Africa. About bloody time too. I was delighted. He swore me to keep this a complete secret, until he'd asked Lucy, of course. It was several excruciating days of waiting for the secret, until Lucy rang to break the news to Len, followed by the inevitable tears of joy. I'm not going to garble on any longer, as I realise I'm only the warm part. So would you please be upstanding and join me the bride and groom, Lucy and Ben.
Woo! Let's have a round of applause for Kelly. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the man of today, it's your groom, it's Ben!
Before I start, can everyone hear me alright? I don't need the microphone or anything. Good.
Nope.
Good stuff. Go through it. First of all, I'd like to thank Ben for his really kind words. And I was a little apprehensive about his speech. It was in the lead up to this. He did hint that he might do a bit of rapping in it. I think we're all genuinely pleased that didn't happen. My wife and I would like to thank everybody for coming. Everybody in this room has played a part in either one or both of us becoming who we are today. Without all of your influences, we may never have even met or got on to with each other. So thank you very much to everybody for everything you've done for us and every time you've been there. The Morgans have really made me feel like part of their family. And I know that Lucy feels the same way about our family. And not just parents, but Sam and Emily, Luke, Helen, Matt, Liz, and all our aunties, uncles, cousins. Everyone's made us feel really amazing and part of each other's family. But particular special thank you has to go to both our parents. They've done so much for us throughout our lives that it's impossible to say thank you enough, really. They've excuse me, sorry. Whether they know it or not, they've actually been a really big part in bringing us together. It became pretty apparent early on in our relationship that part of the reason we got on so well is we've been brought up in similar families with similar values. And with their combined 92 years of marriage between them, they've given us some good footsteps to follow in. To say just a small thank you, I've got some presents for mothers and fathers. So, this is for Lynn.
More booze.
Also want to say a really big thank you to Lucy's friends, the best girls. They've been there through good times and bad, and they've always supported her. With a particular mention to Emma, who has had to suffer today not being the centre of attention. She's really put out all the stops to make sure everything runs smoothly in the lead up to today, including the 3 million hen do's that she had to organise.
And you don't get anything.
And you don't get to do a speech either.
Just a song. Just a song.
And to my best man, Johnny, I'd like to say thank you. I've known Johnny since I was about 11 years old. We used to get the school bus together. We started being good friends when I was about 14. We were in the CCF, and we used to play rugby together at school. Apparently, losing every single game brings you pretty close to it. But Johnny's been there when I've done some pretty amazing things. He's also been there when I've done some pretty stupid things. I'm sure he'll get to it at some point. But he has always been there, no matter what the circumstances are. So I just want to say thank you. So now on to my gorgeous wife. I feel really lucky to be marrying Lucy. She's beautiful, intelligent, funny, thoughtful and strong. But she's also has a delicate, fragile side. She doesn't show to many people very often. In some ways, me and Lucy are quite different. Lucy's really organised. Tidy, driven, and a little bit messy, a bit more relaxed, and I like to fly by the seat of my pants a little bit. But those differences complement each other. I, for a start, wouldn't get anything done if Lucy wasn't around, and I try and keep Lucy's feet on the ground when she's stressed out, and that kind of works well together. But we also have some similar things. We like the same things, we have the same morals and values. Most importantly, we have the same sense of humour. We make each other laugh every day, which is why we get on so well. For those that don't know, I would just like to share the story of how we first met as well. We were going to an Arctic Monkeys concert with two separate groups of friends who happened to be linked by my friend and his sister. These guys sensibly went for some food beforehand. Me and Dave went for a couple of beers beforehand. And by the time we met up with these guys for food, we were already a few pints in. Well, I remember seeing Lucy at the other end of the table and noticed how gorgeous she was. And I didn't spend a lot of time talking to her at the meal, but when we went to the venue, we got a bus there and I sat next to Lucy. And we instantly hit it off, made each other laugh. As you can probably imagine, we carried on drinking for most of the day and my mental state got steadily worse. I ended up losing a contact lens at one point, spent most of the day looking like a pirate. I'm not really sure what she saw in me at that point, but I don't really recall anything of the concert. I don't remember a single song being performed at all. What I do remember is Lucy and how much fun we had. And for some reason she agreed to go out with me again after that. I'm really glad she did. We never really looked back. I'm going to hand you over to Johnny in a minute, but before I do, I'd like to, please everyone stand up, I'd like to raise a toast to the new wife. The bulk of the planning and the organising has been done today by Lucy. She's done an amazing job. Thank you for making today so special, but most of all, thank you for the last 8 years. It's been amazing. You mean everything to me. And I'm looking forward to spending the rest of my life with you. So, I love you. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Let's hear it together. And now, ladies and gentlemen, nobody would be
minutes or less.
Yeah, we're moving to. I've got about 30 minutes, I had 12, so I'm probably 6 minutes. What was the next one? 38. 10.
You've got 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
30 minutes to go, don't it?
So it needs to be pretty quick. This is not just about you. Gambling going on. Right, it's been a great pleasure on at the best man for one of my oldest and dearest friends, Ben. Everybody's life is very personal. We all live within our own little worlds, and each one of those is different, and each one of those is unique. What bonds us as people is the relationships we make along the way. And again, each friendship is unique and each is different. The friendship one of the friendships I'm most grateful for is mine with Ben. Metaphorically speaking, I've often looked up to him. But like a lighthouse, make yourself up. Like a lighthouse in a storm, he's been a constant reminder of kindness and compassion. And out of all the people I've ever met, he's the most self-assured, self-confident, and most calming influence I've ever met. Always there, always steady, and always on side for what is right. Ben has made me laugh, support me when I've cried, and taken good care of me when I've needed him. Like Stag. Which is pretty strange for someone who models his facial hair on Rolf Harris.
What's up?
You tree. You tree answer. I met Ben Wells at school, like you said, when we were both much younger. It seems like another life now, but those days at school cemented the foundation of the friendship, and I'm sure will last into another lifetime. Through our time together, we've taken on all the challenges that young lads do whilst growing up, all the growing pains, trying to get into girls, drinking, driving, all those things. Not gonna weird. Ben, always popular ladies, me, not so much. I've got a good one now. See, I'm going for sort of self-degradation. Ben, you drink well. The trait that you got from toss it down. And driving. The only person I know to crash his car twice in one day. I can still remember your scowl when we turned up with those double dents. Just like that. Looking back, our friendship really took off on the rugby field. It's a game that summed up our best days, and like Ben said before, I would say the best days we had were playing for school and then college. Like you say, we won one game ever in 4 years. We were terrible. But the simple pleasure of stepping out onto a rugby field full of fear and doubt and sort of anxiety, with close friends by your side, is one that I truly miss terribly. I really do too. I miss listening to Ben's warm-up speeches in changing rooms, his motivation on the field, and his positive outlook on the game for next week, even after taking another absolute hammer. We're in cadets together, like you said, another memory that seems to be slipping away now, but another foundation of our friendship that will stay strong. We're both in charge in cadets, and even though looking back it didn't really matter at the time, I still always look to him for some moral and ethical guidance, even when we were young. I always looked very much up to him. Figuring out. I can only really remember one time I had to give Ben some guidance myself, and that was at my little sister's 14th birthday party. We built a slide. Yeah. We built a slide in the back garden using a long tarpaulin with some washing up liquid. Like a ramp, and we could sort of put it down, not ramp, like a garden bit. But Dad had asked specifically then not to get naked or girls. Ask for that, yeah. But Ben slid down the slide, trunks come off, landed in the bottom in a naked heap, surrounded by all the 14-year-olds.
Nudes doing that.
I want to see it. Not your boy. I didn't see that. All the way. Ben, we went to, oh sorry, no, that yet. We went to Sheffield Uni together. Our paths did slightly separate at uni, but we still remained good friends, again, mainly through the rugby team. Ben, do you remember when our rugby team initiation? And we had to go to a good old local hard man Sheffield drinking iron steel pub in drag.
Oh.
I'm really glad you were there with me. Remember when we danced naked around the Kingdom nightclub? And not just once. It really wouldn't have been the same then.
Is this an eye opener?
Watch the dress.
This. Do you remember we had to go to a rugby do and you chose the fancy dress? And you dressed me up as a 6-foot superhero penis. And came along as my trusty sidekick, STD boy. I really wish you'd done that without me. University finished and we all returned home, began to settle in and get jobs. Ben has met this beautiful, absolutely lovely Lucy, who complements, like Ben said, his personality absolutely perfect, and I'm sure along with all of you very, very pleased to hear celebrating their wedding today. 19?
Yeah, really.
19 and a half.
I'm out. Keep it going, pal, keep it going.
Yeah, you've got 55.
15 minutes.
Unlucky. Ben now fits and designs sprinklers, which is a firefighter. He's basically putting me out of work. Cheers, pal. One thing I have noticed, the older we get, he seems to be taking on certain characteristics. He's got a big house, he's got a man cave, he's weighted on hand and foot, he's into martial arts and can beat off men with both hands. He has a very nice car. Ben is basically a shit Batman. But anyway, another story. Ben, it was an absolute pleasure organising the world's oldest stag do for you. Can I see the people in the room who came? Can you put your hand up? More importantly, can you see me? Or anything? You all know where you are. I've never had to do like an itinerary list including emergency contact numbers. In all seriousness, it's been a genuine pleasure to be best friend with them. It's been an absolute honour. What I would say about his stag do is summed him up quite a lot. His personality is so diverse and so accepting and comfortable that the range of people who came along to celebrate his engagement was there on display. Ben's parents, he's done a hell of a job then. Well done. I've been thinking a lot recently while I've been sort of trying to write this, how I can thank such an old and reliable friend, and after much thought and contemplation I came to the only conclusion that I could, and that's that I can't. All I can do is remain his loyal friend, and I hope that's enough. Thank you very much.